reigning heavyweight champ, and right now Edge, Canada's very own wrestling superstar, is gearing up for WWE's biggest event. WrestleMania 27 will be held April 3rd, and Edge is in the main event. He'll be defending his title against Alberto Del Rio, and right now Edge is here in our studio, and we're so pleased to have him.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me how much pressure there is when you're going in to defend your title, because they say it's harder when you're at the top, because you want to keep that title. Do you feel a lot of pressure going into WrestleMania 27?
You know, it's one of those things. I've always said that getting to the WWE was the easiest part in hindsight, and actually getting to the top of the show is the hardest part, and staying there and trying to stay relevant and stay interesting, because our audience grows up and they get younger, and they grow up and they get younger. So you have to be able to relate to a lot more kids now than we did before.
Speaking of growing up, this is something that you wanted at a very, very young age. You knew that this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I was, I want to say I was about 8 or 9 when I first discovered this whole thing. And I was like, these guys are tangible. I can go down to the gardens and see them every month. And I was hooked. That was just what I needed to do. I was, you know, like most kids, I love dinosaurs and you know, superheroes and Marvel Comics and all of those things. But then I stumbled across wrestling, and at that point WWF, now WWE, and it was yeah, that was it. I was hooked, and here we are a lot of years later.
Not that many years. When you're a kid and you have a dream, it's always easier to reach that dream, or maybe more tangible when you have mentors along the way. Tell me about Bret Hart, and tell me about the others that helped you attain what it is you have now.
Yeah, I got really lucky in that, especially with Bret, because Bret was a Canadian who made it to the top. And he was the first Canadian to make it to the top. At that point, no other Canadian had done that to that level. And I think it made it possible for guys like myself to be able to do it too, because thankfully it had been done. And with Bret, I remember I saw him at a TV show once, and I asked him, you know, what I could do to make it. And I was training at that point down in Parkdale. And he said, you know, just get experience. And that happened on TV. And then I remember he came up to me after in the hallway, and he said, I'm sorry I couldn't have more advice for you, but just we'll stay in touch. And then years later, I always said he opened the door a crack. Eventually, at some point, you have to kick the door open yourself. Right. But you need someone to open it that crack, and he opened that crack for me. And that was kind of the beginning. I had my first match with the WWE in 1996.
Obviously, though, he saw something. He saw something in you, maybe that day or later on, and thought, you know what, this kid's got something special. I'm going to help him out.
You know, we've talked about it since, and thankfully we've been able to. We were in Istanbul, Turkey together a few months ago, and packed house, and you know, standing there with him, I was like, this is pretty crazy that we've come full circle like this. And I think probably saw the passion in my eyes for it. Hopefully, I would think that would be what it was. You know, and just how much I love doing this, is, you know, the same way that he did. And yeah, so I'd like to think that's what it was. The fact that this, you know, this dumb kid just came up to him and asked him all of these questions on TV, and then yeah, so I'd like to think that's what it was. And
from the ring to film, you've got quite the exciting life. Tell me about Bending the Rules. You play a cop, right?
Yeah, I play a detective who is kicked off the force, or he's under investigation.
Right.
So I didn't have to really change anything. I just kind of, this is what you get when I wake up in the morning. So they threw like a Hawaiian shirt and some board shorts on me. That was the extent of my wardrobe change. But it was fun. It was. I realized that it's work, because I was maintaining the WWE schedule while I was shooting the movie. So there was, you know, each week for about a month and a half, there was 48 hours a week. I wasn't not sleeping at all. So I was kind of zombie-like by the end of it.
Thank you so much. You're such a pleasure.
Thanks
Wonderful to meet you, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.